Welcome to Soul Conversations with Sandra, the podcast. Welcome, welcome. I'm coming to you from Long Beach, California. Thank you for joining me. I will be posting, let me put in the comments who we will be speaking with. Hold on. Impera. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I spell it correctly. Peru is the guest. Welcome, 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 everyone. I see everyone coming in. Thank you. I'm going to wave at everyone. And of course, everyone, no way, I'm not going to allow any request in every time you do that. So take the request back. This is my podcast, and please be a active listener. Thank you. Okay. Hey, Charlotte. Hi, Matt. This is my Friday podcast, so welcome. What I want to do is I want to be thankful and grateful for the podcast site that I am on. This site, I am thankful and grateful for this platform. I am thankful and grateful that I have use of this platform. I am thankful and grateful that my podcast guest will be here shortly. He's got an extra 30 minutes that he's got to take to clear something up, and he will be here in just a little bit. Yeah, he says he needs maybe about 30 minutes. So, and I want to go back and do my comment so that I can post it. Let me see if I can do my comment. Or do I have to do it over again? Oh, here it is. I am new to the pinning comments, so hold on. Pin comment. Okay. His name is Emperor Eperu. Okay. That is his spiritual name. His given name is Raven. And hold on a second. Let me see if he's here yet. Okay. Wayne, would you rescind your request? Would you take it out, please? Okay, because it's continuously flashing. And welcome. So what I want to do is I want to thank you very much for joining my podcast. I want to thank you very much for being part of my soul family, for being part of this podcast as guests. If you have any questions, put the questions in the question box. You see that one with the question mark. And also I will try to be monitoring my comments. So if you have questions there, just in case my question box doesn't work correctly. And basically what we want to do is we want to take this, allow this site to, I'm not saying that everybody has to have a positive moment, okay? Positivity is, in our stories aren't always totally possible, right? So let me go back and wave at everyone that's come in. I just want to let you know that I am, hold on a second. I just want to let you know because you guys came in so gloriously. I just want to make sure that you know that I've noticed, right? Hi, Matt Har. Hi, Karina. Welcome. Thank you so much. Let's see. Grateful for your podcast. Just heard a meta friend, Lady Gaza. Well, that's great. I hope you enjoyed her. Hold on. Numbers following. Yes. Well, he spells it Ravon, but it's pronounced Raven. That is his what he believes is his government name. I tend to go a little bit differently. I tend to relish in the thought of the name that my mother and father gave me. And what the government wants to do with that name, that's on the government. That's not my story. Okay. So I am thankful and grateful that when my mother looked into my eyes, she saw a name for me, and she vibrated a name for me. You just canceled it. Okay. It's still flashing, but that's okay. We won't worry about it. Wayne, did you send me a request on Facebook? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading that out loud. That was for Wayne. Okay, so let's see. Hold on a second. It's still stuck in there. No problem. No problem. So anyway, I wanted to say I sent a video. We're waiting for him to come into the comments. So and we're giving him hold on. Love my name, pure heart name, Karina, part of your heart, a constellation. Yes, but everybody gets to have their story. The divine is kidding. Everybody's story is different, and everybody accesses that information about their story differently. And for me, I tend not to focus on what is shared with me about the government using my story, right? It's my story. I get to change it at any time, right? And the thing is that my mother had that moment where she looked me in the eye. She connected with me. Her consciousness, my consciousness, and that name became part of me. That's when she looked at me. She looked at me, and I was born Sandra. It was originally spelled Sondra. But of course, people who think they know more, which is a nurse, who thought that the O was supposed to be, it should have been an A. How could it, and they changed it on their own. By the time my mother noticed it on the birth certificate, it was already there. And then, of course, you got to spend money to change it. So she just always called me Sandra, Sondra, right? And there is another story, another part of the story of the vibration of it that was part of her. Right? Which because part of that story is my sister's story, I'm not going to share all of it because I don't have her permission to share. I can only share it from my perspective, right? And welcome, Amplify. Welcome. Hold on. I was trying to wave. There, I waved at Amplify. So everybody has this story, and it's where you begin here and end in your story. So for us, when Emperor Efru comes in, that's the name that he chooses as his spiritual name. Right? And hopefully I pronounce it correctly. And I'm going to ask him to pronounce it for you. Okay? So let's talk. We've got about 30 minutes. I know this is an unusual podcast, but put a question up there. Right? And here's the thing. The question, I am not I didn't do anything in world. I didn't study world, political science or anything like that. And I know most people's questions are going to be about what they see that's prevalent on the news. But let's talk about our spiritual awakening. Let's talk about our soul consciousness. Let's talk about the consciousness of the universe. Let's talk about the consciousness of the of our journey. If you want to ask a question about that, or even ask a question how we can be more conscious in that story that we're actually seeing on our that's playing out on the the worldwide news and in other countries. How can we consciously hold space for them? Do you have a question like that? As far as your gifts and your talents and your skills. Before you awakened, you had a skill. You worked a job, or you had a career, or you had a business, your own business. You were a teacher, you were a doctor. Not were, but these were the things that you were as you were awakening in your spirit, in that spiritual realm, knowing that now you have a divine being that's part of that. From us just only being body and mind, right? And we're just embracing this. And he, like I said, Emperor Eferu is going to be, we've got another 15 minutes. He said he had to take care of something that came up, and it was going to take him about 30 minutes. So he is going to be in, and I'm glad you're joining. And right now, this I want to make about you. What questions do you have? And if the divine is moving through me with an answer that I have that's for your highest and greatest good that you can take away from this, I am welcome to be the one that you ask. Or if we don't know the answer, or if you want me to hold space, is there anybody or any body that needs for us to hold space for you, right? And if you want, say yes. And if you want, we can do this with a little light language, or if you want to talk about something, what do you need to talk about? And sometimes it can be that things that you see in the world. And we say in the world, when I say the world, I mean TV. I mean, things that are plastered out in front of you that everybody has a judgment about. And I'll use that word judgment because, let's use a perspective about. And when you're looking and listening to their perspective, sometimes it's not vibrating with you, right? That just means that you have to go inward and find out why it doesn't vibe. Because there's another vibration. That vibration is leading you to another place for more information. And it's okay to find out more information. Because like we said before in my last live about that, there's infinite places that the divine is showing you infinite amounts of information about the infinite. Isn't that the way the divine just broke that down? There's infinite information in infinite amount of places about the infinite, about the divine, about the creator, right? Yes, 1144. 1144. Welcome, my Especia. I hope I pronounced that right. But so you might hear when I started learning more about my infinite being and I started learning information from the raw materials, and then moving from different books that were channeled writings, right? I learned more about my higher being, and what resonated with me really vibrated through me, and what didn't resonate, I left it. Not to say it was like, oh, that's not the right place for me, right? Your angels talk a lot with numbers, yes, and Lula Bella is I'm not going to say she's a pro. She might not think she's a pro, but she talks with numbers too. And it's 10:10. Wonderful, wonderful. Let me wave. Hi, Island Gal, _Gal. And those coming in the room, Emperor Eperu is going to be present in about 15 minutes. He had something to take care of and asked me if he could take an extra few minutes before he came in, and I said yes. So this soul conversation is kind of on the fly. Well, I'm on the fly all the time. It's like me being in my backyard and having a conversation with my best friend. And energetically, my soul family, soul tribe, soul connections, as a family grows, it does not have to be blood, right? We grow in all different ways, and we give something to our story, and we also give something to other people's story, right? So it's and the reason why I started this podcast is because everybody's soul awakening or spiritual awakening is different. So and everybody's going, either some people think they're done, they're awakened and they're awake. Me personally, I think I'm awakened in certain areas of my life, and I am still looking forward to awakening in other areas. The growth and expansion and evolution is a blast for me, and living in that now moment, and even being able to anchor and grow as Earth consciousness anchors and grows, because humanity was destined to anchor and grow and evolve. The stories should be changing, right? The only constant that the universe gives us is that there will always be change. Let's see. Leah says, not a pro. Growing, expanding, right? Growing and expanding. And here's the thing. Universal numbers aren't the only way to communicate with the divine or be communicated by the divine. Awakening is ongoing for me. Some blast, some gentle, but all growing up like a spiral staircase. Yes, it's constantly evolving. See, we've been taught as individuals, it's been downloaded into our egoic system that feeds our frontal lobe, which is our consciousness, to make sense of things in a linear pattern. And that's okay. If some people like linear, keep flowing with that, because the divine is having a relationship with you, however you're seeing it, however you're flowing with it, right? Yes, so many ways to communicate with the divine. So many ways. That's why when you hear light language from different people, you hear it differently in the different vibrations. The divine is infinitely, wow, infinitely infinite, right? Even people who are what we are considering the old religious dogmas and thought patterns of religion and blah 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 are having a story, and the divine says yes to that story. 911, a pure communication. Ooh, I love that. I love that. Right? So anybody who has just come in, anybody that I missed waving at, Imperia F Haru, I hope I pronounced that right, is due to come in about 10 minutes, and then we will get started with our podcast with him. I don't know what that emoji is. It looks like a cloud. Could it be expansion of the universe is gradual? Well, I think everybody has a different story. For some people it's gradual. For other people, it feels like it's moving so fast. You know, the timelines are shifting so fast. They're shifting from, you know, fourth density to fifth density, or whatever. Doesn't mean that they move from a third density um, 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 they're seeing what we see. They're just seeing it from a different density perspective, from a different vibrational perspective, right? And that was the whole process, or the whole, if you want to say, experiment for Earth consciousness. Earth consciousness is a conscious part of the divine that wanted to shift in form body. It wanted to have a body or a form to shift in. And that's why when you see the earth, it has form to it. It has, when we walk upon it, it has grass, it has ground, it has trees, it has all this form, and it wanted to shift, meaning doing a vibrational shift in form body. It knew that it could already do it formless. It did it for forever. However long forever is. See, we are still human beings, and we still gradually do it on a linear time base. Not that clock time, not that there's anything wrong with clock time, but in the time base of how long we think, how long we think that the earth took to evolve to its place right now, the divine doesn't think in linear time. And yes, if you want to look at that, it can be a spiral. And one person can be expanding and growing at a faster pace. It's based on their story and how they take their thoughts in. Thoughts are just like clouds. They just flow by, right? And either your egoic mind can take in a thought and translate it for you in fragmented sections, or either your higher being can help. When you take in that thought, your higher being can help you discern it. You can either do it, and the difference is that taking it in, the ego judges it based on past, based on a situation that looks kind of sort of like what you went through before, and it puts judgment on that. Your higher being says, what do you want to be now in it? In this now moment, how do you want to grow, expand, and evolve this thought? It makes you responsible for your thought. It makes you responsible for the pattern of the world that you create. You're the creator, right? So, and then from there, from the moment you know that you're the creator, your infinite possibilities, you can start to just ask a divine question. What do I need to see that I cannot see with my physical eyes? What do I need to know that I cannot know with my the ego conscious mind of mine? And your ego is yours. It's not separate from you. It believes that it's separate from everything else, and it believes that it's running the show. And it is part of you. And it is energy. So energy can never be created, nor can it be destroyed. But it can be transformed and alchemated. It can be changed. And then it can merge back with that which created it. That which created your conscious mind. Now, this is an infinite possibility. You can believe it or not. You can take what resonates with you, or you can leave it. You can believe that you're only body and you're only mind, and the divine is not going to think less of you, because the divine is moving in, through, and as you make these journeys, make these choices, write your script of your life. And life isn't waiting for you to did I spell it? I spelled it correct. Let me wave at him. Guys, he's here. Let's clap. Yay. And hold on a second. So excited. I just can't hide it. And let's see. Keep giving him hearts because he's coming in. He's coming in.
Hey, how you
Yes, here
doing?
he is. Here he is.
How you doing?
Welcome to Soul Conversations with Sandra.
I'm finally here.
You are here. You are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
You look fabulous, by the way.
Why, thank you. I receive. I receive.
Hmm.
You are glowing.
Thank you. Thank you. I had to make sure I look, at least present more, a little more, little bit more presentable before I come on and,
But you look
get
glorious. You look
live.
fabulous.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
welcome. And would you say your spiritual name for everyone, please?
Okay, yes, my divine name is Eferu, Emperor Eferu, and that's just the gist of it, it's spelled like that partially for a reason because the you can see the Heru and the Ra and Emperor Eferu. It's an energy, but
Okay.
uh, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's get started,
Uh,
you know, and I've already gave thanks for our platform that it's going to hold us in the energy that we're in, so and I'm thankful and grateful I have this platform to bring this podcast and this wonderful guest to you. And the first question, and the reason why I'm going to ask it this way is I'm in one of my older podcasts, I asked the question, and the gentleman that I asked it to never really thought he had an awakening moment.
mm,
So I want to ask if you've had an awakening moment, and if you have, could you share it with us?
hmm. You know, that's an interesting question because, well, I don't think I've ever really had an awakening moment. I think I've always been awoke. I've always been aware of certain things. And what happens when you're a child, when you are aware, and what happens is when you slowly lose your awareness and your awokenness, and you tend to conform to earthly human ideology and how to carry yourself, or just how society is in that time frame. So when it came to things like the light language, I always had it, so it was like I thought it was something normal, like anybody could do it. I thought I was really just talking gibberish when I was just trying to make up my own little music. And when I was little, I used to love. I was always musical, so I'd be freestyling in a whole nother language.
Right, right.
But yeah, I've always had the sight. I've always been aware.
Okay. Okay. And see, for me, well, the divine has told me that I've always been awakening since I was about 3,
Hmm.
right? And I would have to say, okay, divine, you'll have to show me, those areas because I didn't really, um, I at 3 I wasn't really recalling, but as I sat at the seat of my soul and I started to be an active listener, I do realize what uh, the divine meant by that. That for me at certain times that the more when I was awakened, it was at 3. I was always giving. I wanted to
Hmm.
always give others. I wanted to always take care of others, just from my heart space.
Hmm.
Uh, you if somebody came to school and they didn't have a sweater and they were cold, I would just take my sweater off and give them mine.
Right.
And when my mother would go, "Where's?" She would shake her head and go, "Where's your sweater?" No, never mind. Don't tell me. Right? And it was like, And the thing was, she'd go get another sweater for me or whatnot.
Hmm.
So so there were times where I was aware that why didn't everybody do it like me? Why wasn't this was normal and natural for me to be caring and be loving and that kind of thing. But not everybody was doing it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a very good that's a very good answer. I love it that, you know, for me, I just felt that, you know, at some time I I was always aware, but not aware that not everybody else was aware,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. Like now, like.
Uh, and as you were saying, for my light language, it did not come in until sometime last year. But I was when I was doing my, because I was I don't know if, well, I'll say I was a kid who who rubbed adults wrong because I was always asking, embodying, right?
Yeah.
And, especially, I grew up a Baptist, so I was a Baptist little girl. And when stuff just didn't make sense to me, I would go kind of like that kid that would go, "But why?"
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say why. I would actually go, "Well, if this is this and this is this, then why this?" And they would tell my mom's name was Anne, and they would say, "Anne, you know, you need to kind of like dial your daughter down."
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would annoy the pastor's wife, or I'd annoy the pastor or the Sunday school teacher or whatnot. So when I got about 12, when I got about 12, my questions, my mom couldn't answer. And my mom would just put her hands on her hips, shake her head, and go, "It's time for you to go find your answer. Okay, which church do you want to go
Mm-hmm.
to?" And I would, I wouldn't, hold on a second. So, isn't light language a freestyle of sounds? Yes, it's vibrational. At least that's what the divine has told me. Or is it trans? It is, because the divine can also give a person the ability
Mm-hmm.
to do light language and also um, uh, translate it
Yeah.
through your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Soul translates it, and sometimes the the vibration is sometimes the vibration can be different to people who hear the vibration, and the information comes from the divine through the soul to another person can be different. You could have 10 people in a room and get something totally different,
Yep. From everyone.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
the divine can be everywhere all the time and nowhere all the time. I know that sounds really kind of what, but I mean, the vibration, even if the people aren't in the room, when someone watches your video, the vibration of the divine talking to them can be totally different than the 10 people that got information in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you hear it in our human ears as words, it's like, does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wayne says, yes, it's no, it's not similar to speaking in tongues. It's speaking in tongues. That's just another label that we gave it,
Hmm.
Wayne.
I actually heard from my I think my mentor explained it. I heard differently that it's actually different. Um, it
Different.
wasn't really elaborated how, or maybe I don't remember how different it was, but I think it's a different frequency.
Well,
I mean,
I think just as we speak English here in the United States,
hmm
or let's just put it here in the Americas,
hmm
whatever. Okay, and then you go to Japan and they speak Japanese.
right.
Our light language is based on our inner being. Our
Mm-hmm.
is it, or some people call it soul, some people call it spirit. Our inner being, when you think about it, um, the inner beings come from all over what we consider the galaxies, but they're all part of the divine. And they all have their resonance or their
hmm
frequency. So even if we called it speaking in tongues, it might have a different resonance, right?
hmm
But it's
From a really, yeah,
fine.
yeah.
that's what I got when I started asking about
Hmm.
it. Because when my light language started coming in, it didn't sound like I was something that I normally heard. I heard it
Hmm.
in airy, kind of like if a fairy was saying it, and a lot of clicks and a lot of, a lot of uh, high pitches and whatnot. And when mine came in, it was the resonance of it was like, okay, what's this? Is this, because I literally had to ask, is my ego trying to play a trick on me?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Does my ego want me? I literally had to sit at my seat of my soul and go, is this you?
I get you.
You
I get you. I understand
right?
that because it's like it's like um when you're doing magic or when you are tapping in to your gifts or your abilities. What happens is, you know, a part of it is you, but a part of, it's also an extension. It's also your higher self. So that's why it feels like you did it, but really it was from a higher
Right.
vibrational frequency of yourself.
But yeah. And when people, like, when my light language came in, there was two steps that I had.
Hmm.
I used to always listen to Abraham Hicks, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And I said out loud, I want to hear what my soul sounds like. I want my soul, right? I mean, I'm open. I want to hear that. First time I was in uh my meditational bath, and I was kind of deep, and I heard this voice that sounded like mine, but just like it sounded like something coming from deep underneath the water. And it took me a while, but I got that. Oh, this is my soul translating me to me in English, right? And then I just kind of took it a step further, and went, okay, I want to divinely hear what I heard when I went to the holiness church and heard people at that time, it was called speaking in tongues.
Hmm.
I remember turning to the person that I went to church with. I think it was my best friend, and I told her, I'm going to talk like that one day. And she said, okay, you know, I think we were maybe 13 or 14, and she just looked at me, and I looked at her, and we nodded, and she just said, okay, like, yeah. And then, as it passed, as I went to different churches, it's kind of like it got put back there. And then, the divine said, okay, you're ready, because it's a gift that's open up to you. Everybody has this gift. Everybody came with the same amount of gifts,
Yep.
but it's just when you have your awakening moment. I call it an awakening moment when you realize that you're not body and you're not just mind, but you have this higher being that has came here with purpose, on purpose, and created your glorious self for a purpose. And when you're awakened to that part,
Hmm.
right? It's
Yep.
different. Hold on a second. Somebody was saying something else. Let me just welcome these people in. Uh, uh, Troy Marshall says, even speaking in tongues can't be translated. No, everything can be translated. The divine wouldn't leave you unknowing of what's being said.
How about this? Um, there's levels to this light language thing. So I would say the very first, I would say that first level would probably be in the church when a woman will break out and maybe have that, that I can't remember what it's called, catch the Holy Ghost. They're speaking in tongues and they're doing all of this. But they don't understand it, right?
Right.
So but they're so tapped into spirit from the religious perspective, it don't really matter to
Yeah.
them. It's God giving them all that energy. And what's going on is that I don't want to mess up. I'm gonna describe this the best way that I can, but I've noticed, this mainly happens to women in church, but women I know they have the power. So when are in church and they get, because the mind don't know the difference. So when you in church and you truly believe what you are indoctrinated in, then that becomes your true religion, your true spiritual system. So you can access your spiritual abilities from that level,
Right.
from that playing field. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
what happens is so that's, to me, that's the beginning
Yeah.
stages. Speaking
Yeah.
in tongues, no one knows what you're doing, but they believe that it's so aligned with the church and God and what the pastor had just said that they just roll with
They
it.
just
Now,
roll. Right. Um,
outside of the church, it's people that just tap into the language, and it could be from a higher frequency, and it can, and some people are activators, not everyone, but some are activators.
right.
So when you're speaking your language and you're doing your thing or whatever, what have you, I should say, and somebody is unfamiliar with it and they get a energy exchange from it, they getting activated, but they, from being in that religious doctrine, they think it's evil, it's something spooky. So they're like, nah, I don't want to mess with that. I can't get with that.
Yeah.
You doing something evil, you doing something weird. But then go to church and be like, oh, this is holy, this is it, this is spiritual, I
Yeah.
love it, God is saving us.
Yeah.
You know?
So two things. I'm gonna repeat what Wayne said. Wayne says, my understanding, Gospel Baptist Church is a big time thing in America, and you didn't really have to put the American flag there, but that's your own choice. And yeah, okay. So when I went in Baptist, when I went to I grew up in a Baptist church, Northern, not Southern Baptist, but Northern Baptist, that the women did get the Holy Ghost, but they weren't speaking in tongues for
Mhm.
that Baptist church. They didn't speak in tongues, but they got the Holy Ghost, and they danced with glory. And, so it started there for me. Okay. And as I went to different churches, in search of, okay, I'll back up a minute. I I am not, I do not believe that mankind was born sinful. I just don't believe it. And that's why in my Baptist church, my pastors would always go, this girl, she's, right? Because I would ask them to explain it to me.
Mhm.
I don't believe that mankind came from just two people. I believe I had to sit with it a long time to hear the divine give me what the energy was for me. It's not going to resonate for everybody
Right.
else. In any of my rooms, in any place that I'm talking, I get my information from the divine for me, for my highest and greatest good. Then I share it with others. But you take what resonates for you at that time, and you leave everything else in the room. That
Right.
way, it takes out all judgment, because then you're open to go somewhere else and have more information given to you that uh, that transforms your puzzle pieces into what you need to be the creator of your life. So
Mhm.
for me, um, coming from a Baptist church, I knew that women primarily got the Holy
Mhm.
Ghost when they were overcome. I never really heard anybody in my church speaking light language or tongues. When I went to a holiness church, that was my first introduction to it, and actually hearing it and connecting with it. I'm not going to say I understood it. I'm not going to say there was a translation. There was a vibratory connection that I knew that when I heard it, I turned around to my friend and I'm going, I'm gonna speak like that, you know, and having my friend kind of vibrate with me, going, yeah,
Mhm.
okay, that way. Um, we never talked about if we understood it. We never talked about if it was translated, but we understand that we connected with the vibration,
Right.
right? And through my as I grew and expanded in my awakening in other parts of my life, when that gift was ready to be open to me, it came on like a flood.
Mm.
It and it it and in some parts I could translate when the divine wanted me to. And then there's other parts where somebody will say, hey, can you translate that for me? No, if I didn't translate it to you when I was doing it, then that means it's for you to sit at the seat of your soul
Mm.
and get that information, for you to get that vibration, for you to get that download, right? Hold on a second. Somebody says, I don't want to miss any of this. Uh, Sandra activates mine. That's Leah Lulabella. I remember when that happened. Yes. And still thanking the divine for that. I'm just the vessel. I resonate with it, but I will always give thanks and glory to the divine for opening up that gift for me. Mia in Posia, I hope I pronounced that right. She said, yeah, for me, she was scared. Okay. We can talk about that if you want. Um, let's see. Wayne says the divine gave me a revelation recently that two ancient civilizations, for the ancient civilizations, the Americas, Mayan, and Aztec, Atlantean. Okay, I'm going to say I know just a little bit about it, but the divine is schooling me on that right now. So, um, is there a question in there that you want to ask him about, Wayne? Please let us know.
He said, okay, so can two people communicate with each other using light language? Yes, when actually twins do it a lot when when they're first born. They hold conversations with each other, or just children toddlers in general. They legit hold conversations with each other and build on the language um over time. And I guess somewhere along the way they forget. And then what happens is if you can interpret it and understand, yeah, two people can have a conversation. And it's funny because I can have a conversation because I don't understand exactly what I'm saying yet, but I know my intentions. And so when I'm speaking to somebody in light language, I can feel that my soul knows what they're saying.
Yes,
But
it's yeah, yeah.
yeah, go
I
ahead.
yeah I can talk with the my soul can talk with other souls. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the natural vibration. Every higher being, every soul, every spirit can talk in that vibration. Can our conscious mind understand it? Can our egoic mind understand it? No,
Mm-mm.
no. It doesn't make sense. It's a vibration. Your egoic mind was meant to understand the language that we have right now,
Mm-hmm.
English or Japanese or Chinese or whatnot. That's how the egoic mind was meant to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you start to speak or that gift opens up, that's a kind of a bypass. The divine can give the wisdom and understanding it needs to give for others without having the egoic mind try to put finite try to address the energy in finite. You
Mm-hmm.
get infinite, right? um
Mm-hmm.
for me, as if I connect with a soul in any of my lives, we just start talking it. We can have a conversation, and then there'll be other people who vibrate with it,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a
It
vibration.
is.
It's not only because we're talking to each other, like catching up. Oh, how have you been these 10 billion years? What have you been doing? It's a syncing of holding space. Let's see. Somebody says, Sandra,
That's a sinking of holding space.
uh, Sandra, your light language makes me feel so safe. I'm glad, because I wake up in the morning speaking light language. That's the first thing I speak before I even speak English. It feels I feel at home wherever home was,
Mm-hmm.
wherever home began. For me for the vibrational essence of who I was before this foreign body.
Mm-hmm.
Lula says, nice sync twins, and yeah, I'm a Gemini. Okay, Sandra's one.
I
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
Gemini in my past life.
you were. I'm gonna tell you, we Geminis, right? Um, Sandra, is there any way we can do? Is there any way we can do in this lifetime what that we can remember in another? Oh yeah, ask your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Sit with your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Your divine knows everywhere it's been. If it chooses to share with you a past life of where it's been, yeah, most
You can
definitely.
you can also tap into your Akashic records or get somebody to tap into it.
Yes.
That works.
Uh, hold on. Somebody said something else. Hold on. Sandra, is there any way to like our current gifts? Yeah. You want to know your current gifts? Your higher being knows it. Your higher being knows what's in it. It left light quotients in your DNA so that it could recall what it came here to do, who it came here to be, how it came here to have these infinite possibilities, and why it chose third density to do it in. Most beings have chose third density because this density gives you infinite possibilities of journeys,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true.
of, of choices, and you can do it either. You can do it on the fly, and your higher being is in the background, kind of giving you whispers, and your ego is taking advantage of the finite possibility, and you're living your life. And that's only because you only know what people have told you prior, what they have downloaded into your DNA as a suggestion. Your only body, your only mind. But that awakening, that there is a time where your egoic mind gets quiet for a minute, and you witness the the stillness of the ego, and go, I want to know where that stillness came from. And the divine, all of a sudden the divine comes forward and says, oh, you're aware, right? Okay, what
Yeah.
are you aware of? You know, and your divine is having a conversation with you. I heard someone tell me in another live that they're afraid of talking to themselves, right? And because the consensus that they gave you is, if you talk to yourself, you need to go visit a shrink. You
Oh yeah,
shouldn't
yeah, yeah.
be hearing voices. You shouldn't be hearing any of that, right? You shouldn't be hearing your higher being. You shouldn't be hearing voices of your ego. You shouldn't be.
Been
Well,
talking to myself
you
since a child.
right,
Oh,
right,
that's
and,
what I
and
was saying.
right. You shouldn't be hearing the voices of your invisible friend. And that invisible friend is just the higher being having a conversation with you, because as a child, you're open to it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, so let's go back.
I just wanted to say, that's how I got reintroduced to my awareness, or not to my awareness. Hold on. There was something that you said that triggered a thought that made me remember something, and I just lost it right when I was about to speak on it.
Uh,
Um, it'll come back. You go ahead.
it'll come back. Yeah. Um, it'll come back. And yes, it's all about the Akashic records. The Akashic records are part of your DNA. Okay. Now, the way I believe it is, each generation, like my mother's Akashic records, when there's slivers of her in my DNA, because I was born through her, but her Akashic records, when her body and her higher being left this form being, her Akashic records were closed, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Now I know that my mother is she stayed in formless, and she is guiding me. She's my guidance. My mother, my grandmother, I know that my generational guides that guide me stayed behind, but their Akashic records are closed to me. My Akashic record is only open to me. And there's slivers of her in there because the DNA had to create me, form body,
Mm.
right?
Wow.
I know that my inner being, if I want to know about my Akashic record, my inner being gives me that information. But there are other people that need to go to people who have the gift opened up that they can read the Akashic records, that they can
Mm-hmm.
hold space so that that information can be opened up to you, right? And only you'll know if you have to go to these people, right? But it's also about what you want to know as a form being right here and now. Do you want to live in the past? In the past, and when I say the past of your higher being, because your higher being has already lived a portion of that, right? In another body, in another time, in another in another world, right? And if they're giving you that information, they're sharing something with you. But is it? Do you want to yield to being in that, that time frame, or is it
If
going to
you
be
want
something
to go.
that you're going to do for your now moment?
Mm-hmm.
What do you? You can agree or not agree. What do you think about that?
Um, I agree. I agree. I think it's important to make sure we stay in the now. But I mean, it's important to dive into, let me say this, get to your Akashic records to understand aspects of your past that'll help you amplify what you got going on in the now. And I guess the best way I can explain this is when I got my Akashic records, this is before I knew my divine name. I wanted to know what my divine name was. And he was like, oh, they're telling me you've had so many lifetimes that it really you can come up with your own name or whatnot, and to basically move forward. So basically, what I'm trying to say is you want to focus on the now and not in the past. Like everybody's, when they get conscious, they want to learn about Egypt and all of this, and they want to go back to being Egyptians and or Kemites and Indians with the feathers, and but we're evolving. The goal is to evolve and grow. So yes, learn that, understand who you are in the past, but take that and turn it into something new, into something greater, into something more powerful, because that's what you're here to do anyway.
Right. Okay, Wayne says, I want to do an Akashic reading of Feel a Past Life, my galactic family. Okay, then you have to go do it. Find somebody to read it for you. Intention plus energy is creation. Uh, Mom says, because talking to yourself is taboo. Okay, see, my scrolling has just started again, so let me scroll. I've seen at least 6 different Okay, so here's something. Oh, he left. Okay, he'll be back, I guess. Um, um, I've seen. So here are your different lives. Your different lives are your soul or higher being. It is not your physical body. This physical body here. So when we say my different lives, we're talking about our infinite soul that has been somebody else in a different lifetime, in a different version, in a different universe, in a different galaxy, right? And if you want information that will be helpful to your growth and expansion here and now, then yes, do a Akashic reading, right? Um, Hold on. Let's see. I want to know what my ancestral gifts are. Then do a Akashic reading. Ask your ancestors to speak to you, right? Let's see. Hold on. My scrolling is catching up with me. Uh, Hold on. Okay, he's coming back in. He said he accidentally hit something. uh,
Yes. Instagram got too much going on. Like, I tried to scroll in the comments, and I ended up scrolling to somebody else's live.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the scrolling has had stopped for me, so there were a lot of people that I didn't get to wave at or anything. Hold on a second. I hope you'll be able to see this question. Hold on. Okay. So Wayne has a question. How do we get in touch more in touch more with our gifts through light language? And then he says something else. He says, Radiant is Israel for the fasting. Okay, no, we're not going to talk about Israel. We're not going to talk about the war. We're going to keep it on light language and, you know, using your divine gifts. Now, if you want to use your divine gifts for holding space for the war that's going on, right? Think about peace, okay? Think about peace
And love.
and love, and then become peace and love.
And imagine a green aura around you at all times.
Yeah. And then as you're holding space, sending out that energy to those people. I'm just saying, this is how we use some of our gifts and some of the energy. Anybody in this room right now, most of you in this room know that you are a creator. You know that you are the divine creator moving in, through, and as you. That means that you have a power. You have the power of a star inside you, radiating. That's a lot of power that you're going to send out to the to everyone everywhere. So think about what your intentions is. You know what your intentions are, and then put your energy behind it and create what you want to see in the outer world. Okay, we were blessed with physical eyes. We were truly blessed with physical eyes, but we don't have to, you don't have to say, I'll believe it when I see it. How about I'll give it out there, and then it'll be seen by everyone. It'll be seen by everyone internally, vibrationally, right? So I know, Wayne, this concerns you, and every time you feel comfortable enough to come into my pages with this information, but start using the right verbiage about what you want to see. All right.
Yeah.
He
Setting
says blue light kachina. Is that's I guess he's asking, is that what you meant?
uh
Wayne, he's saying blue light Cachina, kachina.
it was that for when I said to imagine a light around you.
Yes,
You
I
want
think that's
to because I'm thinking of chakras, but also colors have a meaning too. So the color that I'm most familiar with, as far as the definition of it, is green. The green light. Yes, the blue light is for protection. But the green light, for what I understand, is about love and purity.
pure.
So,
Yes,
you want to have that aura around, imagine a green aura around you. It's also a form of protection because, the negative can't really mess with the positive,
yeah.
or.
But the negative can't mess with the positive. But get this, we're in third density is polarity. So in order to have, in order to seek a journey in the positive, you're going to feel some negative, but you weren't meant to stay there. Okay.
But
So
accept it.
yeah.
You have to
Um,
accept it.
yeah, you don't have to accept it. You feel it.
Hmm.
You decide
Yeah.
that, oh, I don't like this feeling. I want, and you get to choose something different.
Hmm.
Lula agrees with you. Blue light is protection. And Charlotte says, do you guys have many family members that have awakened too? I do. But see, it's awake when they say they're awakened, that's based on their perception of what they're awake for. Everybody's going to have an awakening in a different vibration.
Yeah.
So I could have family members who are in, the Christian church, and they be awakened, awakened, they're looking at it a little differently. They might not see a lot of the old dogmas, the old stories and everything, but they go to church every Sunday. They,
That's
you know,
facts.
yeah.
That's facts.
And they vibe with how I vibe? Maybe not. But the divine says every story is okay, because the divine will only say yes to you. Why? Because you were given free will to have your story any way you want. You're meant to grow, expand, and evolve
Hmm.
any way you want. And the divine says, I'm just going to feel it. I'm not going to judge you. The divine says, why would I judge myself? You
Hmm.
are me,
Right.
right? So so for me, my family, not some of them don't worship the no worship. Yeah, worship might be a good word, because some of them, they're worshiping the Almighty. They haven't gotten to the fact that they see themselves as the Almighty, you know.
Right.
But that's on them, you
And
know.
it's it also depends what your perception of or definition of awaken might be, because there's some people that they're tapped into their gifts, but they don't want they're scared of them. They don't want them. They want to stay in the church and stay in that belief system, because that's what makes them feel safe. That's what makes them feel where, when you understand something, it makes it that much more comfortable for you. You know what's coming, or whatever, or what
Right.
have you. But like, for an example, my mother, she can see spirits and she can see auras, but she's not trying to. It scares her, and she don't know who to talk to about this. I mean, she can talk to me about it, but she don't. It's like
Hmm.
she doesn't even want to, you know,
Right.
acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she is awakened, but she's not.
Yeah, she's not in totality. And
Right.
there's nothing, like, for me, the opposite for me, when I was, I don't know, I think I was, I can't remember. I think I was somewhere about 8, maybe 9. I don't know if I had made it to double digits. I don't know if I had made it to 10. But no, and maybe it was about 10. That's the time I started walking home from junior high, from the latter years of my elementary school age. So I was always the first one that got home. And when I got home, when I came in the door, my living room, the door area where we walked in, there was a hallway to bedrooms. You could see straight down the hallway, right? And every time I would walk in there, there would be the shadow. I could tell it was a person that was standing in front of my door, and I would just stay in the living room, because a couple of times I walked back there, and it kind of faded, right? And at first I was a little, I was scared, but not scared. I can't explain the feeling.
Mm,
I right. So I asked,
cautious.
at first I thought, oh, my mom's gonna think me nutty. But when I started talking to my mom said, Sandy, that's your granddad. Okay.
Mm,
And I I went, oh, I didn't know I know I had a grandmother, but I didn't know my grandfather. And she says, yeah, that's your granddad. He's always watching over us. And if you see him in your room, he's watching over you. Did you say hello? And at 9 or whatnot, she said, did you wave and say, hi, granddad? That kind of thing. So the next time I came in, um, home, I just, went about my business, put my stuff up, and then I looked down the hall, and there it was. And I said, hi, granddad. And the darkness of it turned to this kind of light. And then, do you see what I mean?
yeah.
And it was, why he showed up in darkness was, I think the darkness was meant not to scare me. Do you see what I mean? Sometimes when we think darkness, we think
Mhm.
scary. But
It's protection to a certain extent. It's to
yeah,
protect the egoic mind.
yeah, because that's how they presenting it, because it didn't know how to present it in any other way, because it was presenting it to my physical eyes. But the moment I kind of let go and just received it in, it became this light that moved around with formless form. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and some people don't understand what I mean. It took on the form of the shape of two arms and two legs, but it wasn't really two arms and two legs. It was light moving.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Some other people came in, and Catalina says, everyone is on their own journey. I hold space for everyone's uh, uh, space and path. I do too. Um, I don't know if do you see this one? Wayne says, I
I
had
had
honor.
honor as a young child to meet both my granddads. One side, he was in World War II. My dad was in World War II. Or no, one side was in World War One, and my dad was in World War II.
Wow. One. So let's talk about your music, because you're
Ah,
an art.
okay.
Let's talk about your music. Um, let's see. We've got maybe what time? 11:30 to 12:30 is an hour. That's so we are 15 minutes into maybe 30 minutes. So let's talk about your music.
Okay.
Okay, was did your kind of sort of spiritual awakening, because you no because you're an awakened soul. You've always been awakened. Did your was music one of those gifts that opened up to you?
Um, Not necessarily. I just noticed that every time I showed my songs, my music to somebody, they were always hella impressed, or just like the effect. Like nobody, not any piece of music that I share with somebody, I never got a bad feedback from it.
Mhm.
Cause, and what I later found out is that it made them feel a certain type of way. So, but this was before I knew that my throat chakra was activated to a certain point. So, um, first of all, I kind of wanted to touch on this. The awakening started happening when I started dealing with more trauma, or I started acknowledging it. I started questioning it, and I started wanting answers for certain things. And that's kind of what happened with that's kind of what happened with the music. I got hurt, and then so I put it in a song and to express how I felt. And when I showed it to people, they was like, it's like they could feel the energy, they could feel my pain, or they could feel my fire, because there was a lot of fire in that song. I was on tip, but it was but it was in a way where I demonstrated skill and finesse and all of this and all of that, to the point where they was just like, okay, this is amazing. This song is amazing. You have a gift. And I'm just like, okay, well, I still didn't really think about it like that. It wasn't until I got acquainted with my divine tribe, my spiritual family. Um, you may know her, you may not. Her name is Ali West. That's my mentor, and she was also the one that helped me tap back into my light language. So it wasn't more like it was more like I was sitting in the room so much, because this was on Clubhouse. I was sitting in those rooms so much. I'm listening. I'm like, man, this sounds like something I used to do when I was little. So one day I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna rap for him one day. So I unmiked when everybody got quiet and just rapped in light language. And
Uh-huh.
everybody was like, whoa. And she translated everything that I said. I'm like, wow. So it is light language. Okay, cool. So when I got to talking to her one on one, she told me like, okay, you have a musical gift, and I'm supposed to help a lot of people with, or heal a lot of people with my music. So when that happened, when I heard that, and then I thought about I thought about a time when I had made a song out of pure bitterness. Like it was just negative,
Mm.
right? And when I played it for other people, that was the only time people was like, that ain't it. So when I thought about that, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, what happened was one day I had asked somebody, okay, so about the music or whatever. I can't remember why she felt the need to tell me this, but she was like, she was an oracle. She was like, don't make songs about your ex. Don't make songs out of low vibration because it affects people and they can feel it. They can feel the nastiness, the negativity in it. And uh, so what happened when I heard that, and I started really thinking about my role in this lifetime and what my purpose is. I realized, okay, I have to be more responsible with my music and what I say in it, or not even just, not like going all the way right, because I'm actually like a dark light person, if you will. I don't know if that,
No,
a great example for the people in the, people in the audience.
no, I got it because I'm glad you said it because vibratorily I was thinking it. Music, because we live in such a polarity where you got to have the dark.
Hmm.
And sometimes you got it to have the dark in order to find the light. And sometimes you have to have the light in order to pierce the dark.
Hmm.
That your songs, whether when you singing songs about your ex, the, the divine wants me to say this, and the divine is searching for my human words. That you have to sing about your ex in order to heal from it, in
Release.
order to
Yes. Hmm.
surrender from it.
Because it's your
But at
outlet.
right at the same time, for healing from it, the words that come after that is what's going to help a person who's in that same vibrational moment of not knowing how to heal from that dark
Hmm.
spot, right?
Hmm.
They yes, they do feel the lower vibration of that darkness of feeling hurt or feeling like a victim of someone. And then all of a sudden the resonance of you will show them light in
Hmm.
that same song.
Hmm.
So it's a polarity vibration that old that you're not getting, that you've always had.
Hmm.
It's just now you know how to vibe with it, that
Right.
that it's okay to have a little bit of darkness that pulls a person to that darkness and says, I felt exactly like he felt with my boyfriend, my girlfriend, or significant others, or even a family member who has done some darkness to them.
Hmm.
And then in that same music have have the resonance of, look, let's move to the light. Let's find out what the healing version of that is. Okay,
Hmm.
I can show you what my healing version is. This is what my song is about. It's about my healing version of moving to the light.
Hmm.
And then somebody else say, "Ooh, I resonate with that."
Right. Because then that's what I had started doing is uh uh I wanted to talk. So say I went through a breakup and it kind of messed me up a little bit. So I wanted to write a song about it, at least use it to use my creative abilities to express how I felt about the song. But when I tried to do it, and I will admit, till this day, I cannot, I do not have the words for this song.
Mm.
I do not have the word. I don't know why. I feel like spirit is like restricting me from talking about this topic until I've actually reached a certain point of growth where I can actually talk about this from a place of maturity.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
mm,
Roy says exactly. It's you're from it's from that so that you can talk about it from formless as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to form, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to allowing your ego to present it as you're the victim, you're going to stay the victim, and the
Mm-hmm.
your ego doesn't know that you'll stay a victim as long as you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
how much you've been hurt and how awful she is, and and
Right.
and bitches this, and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
to the
It's,
but I'm feeling it already, man. I'm just whoa. I'm whoa. I'm feeling that you're ready. Oh man. Mm.
I feel it too.
Yeah. There she no toku ute te ushina te ti I mataki na shi sho loku a de senada. Te toku senata ki ki loku hu a limite. O la me shi no toku aba aba a che o la mente ki shi no to nam da so no to shana to o da im da shi o shina da hi. Grow, expand. Ochen, toshe, shenata, imte, ushenatai, yipshe, shole kimna. Show me. Malaki she sholaki kieno toka. Ke sanda here she nate umptahia.
Ratu kere la kumu popote tara shini kiara la tisma kara la katara shino mumara. Hiera la katere shinira la katera shinira la toro sete katara la katoro putiete kera na yate. He kere re shiro ro mala katare de ketoro boy kere ki shiare ha. Ukire shini kera bora la tesnara shikaki kete.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, shonata kawa. Yes, it's well
So
time.
one of the
Yes.
things that my mentor had told me to do was, well, for one, I'm a teacher. You know, I teach spirituality and I teach through my experience. So what I started doing through my music is, okay, since my voice can activate now and I am an activator, she told me I want you to start putting light language, incorporating light language into your music. So, what I've been doing is I've been practicing, I've been coming out with songs, trying to figure out how I wanted to do this. And then it just got to a point where uh, another oracle told me you should stop writing and just go off the top of your head because it makes it easier for the divine. So then now we're getting to me being able to channel other artists. I can channel artists' energy and I will sound like them, or at least I sound like myself, but I can go toe to toe or head to head with the person that I'm in, with the person's energy that I'm in. So when this same oracle that told me that, when she was reading me, she was like, I'm just sensing a lot of celebrities. Like,
Yes.
what is going on? So uh,
Yes.
I'll name a few. She and I'm only gonna name who she named. She said for some reason she started thinking about Michael Jackson, and then uh, uh, a couple of people that had Prince had something to say to me, and she referenced Biggie. You know, that's just like she used him as an example because he went off the top. He never wrote. So they said, and they were saying through her, we're it's easier for us to tap in, or it's easier for you to channel, you know, especially when you smoke, that when you're doing your music and you're going off to the top. So what happened was when I was doing that and I was practicing and
Somebody asked, have you ever tried Snoop Dogg?
nah.
I'm gonna give you one
But
more. I don't. I'm going to give you one more. Wadakim to kushe she no to se no taki ia te. And I'm going to give you one more. Sam Cooke. Te she no ta I sho ku ta imte she no na chi. Sam Cooke. And Lula asked, do you mean those who have passed on?
yes, and some that are still living actually. Uh uh Anybody with the dragon energy. So like Busta Rhymes, Lil Wayne, or Kendrick Lamar. I'm more into rap. Yeah, you can tell I rap. So
Right.
I'll do both. I'm singing a little bit, harmonize, and I also rap. But
Yeah. My son, when he was young, uh, Max he would just, I mean, you could throw a word out and he just it would just come and he would just rap it. He would
mhm,
just, his uncle would just give him like a word or a phrase and he just freeform. And I could see that that was, this divine energy,
mhm,
and he always had like a notepad and a piece of paper and, writing down words and sometimes just listening, just listening, and
yeah,
so you could say the word government and he'd start just pulling it out there when he literally from the time he could, like, I think maybe 9 or 10, when
mhm.
he just
That's
looked.
awesome.
Yeah, and he looked at me, is this okay? And I told him it's okay. Be what you want to be. Me, it was be what you want to be. My older son was a dancer. He loved ballet. He could fly across the stage,
Wow.
and he looked and he said, "Can I do this?" I said, "Can you?" Right? My mother
Mhm,
said, "Really? Is that a question? Are you asking me, may you do this? If you're asking me, can you? I'm asking, can you?"
mhm.
That kind of thing. Wayne Believer says Kendrick Lamar is a
A
good
great
artist.
artist. Yep.
Yeah,
Great artist.
right.
He channels too. He channels too. Spirit medium.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Um,
so wow, you're yeah, I'm just I look at um both. Let's see, who else was that?
no man, I'm not gonna say.
Go ahead and say it. This is free space.
Okay. Uh, I just wanted to throw out another artist that I'll also channel is actually Tupac.
Tupac. Yes.
Yeah,
Uh, Come on.
I tapped
He
in.
was channeling.
He,
He was always
he,
channeling.
cause um, I heard from someone else that he's a master psychic. Now I'll leave it up to you to believe whether or not he's still alive or not. But he is the master, and he was always tapped in.
Anything is possible. Yash, I think uh, you and Joshua were having a live, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And
Joshua, yep.
that's how I met you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
for me,
how you met me.
that's how I met yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you came in on a live that we had. We
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remembering it correctly, divine is
That's
giving
exactly the way it
my
happened.
recall, right? And I think that here's the thing that I think we as human beings have to understand the power of shifting. Our higher beings, when we human beings think of this whole uh, thing that we're doing, the form body and the mind and the fact that we have free will, right? And we say we can do anything, be anything, whatnot. What we need to remember as we have to bring in our higher being and understand that our higher being created our glorious bodies. I don't care what color you
Mm-hmm.
are, or whether you have one arm or two, whether you were born with no arms, no legs, your glorious body was created on purpose with a purpose from your divine being. Your being was invited into a playground to shift, to do everything that your higher being could do in free form, formless, as a body. So as far as Tupac and Michael Jackson and many others, Elvis Presley and all these other people that we think are living on an island somewhere, they learned to shift. They learned how to shift into fourth density and fifth density and anchor there. Now, for me, I believe that they are slightly beyond the third density or the polarity that we are in. And they took their bodies with them,
Hmm.
right?
I heard somebody say one time, uh, Michael Jackson and Prince alone did enough work in that one lifetime to not have to come back.
This, this
So they all the way like.
Yeah. And even though we saw, we didn't really see bodies being buried. We didn't really see any of these things. Only the people who saw that actually physically did that would know. And what we need to understand is that we are here. We are here to do. I at least know when I read the book, The Divine Design, that was channeled through Lori Ladd, the divine channeled through her and helped her write a book that she wasn't even thinking about writing, right? And to learn that the divine consciousness called Earth wanted to have a body to shift in. It wanted to shift like it does in formless. Because in formless, all it had to do was think, put intention behind it, and in a blink of an eye, it was where it wanted to be. It was what it wanted to be. But it wanted to do it in human form, right? And then the consciousness of God said, does any other higher beings of mine that is within me, do you want to do this too? Do you want to come play? Do you want to come play? And beings from everywhere said, I want to come play. I want to come play. I want a foreign body. If I can do that, I want to, and this story that the dreamer, the divine, is dreaming about us being the dreamers and having access to infinite possibilities, said, okay, let it be so. And here we are. Let it be so. And we're starting to learn how to shift. And as we're shifting and anchoring in 3D, giving our light quotient to the earth consciousness and humanity, Michael Jackson gave a lot of light quotient. Prince gave a lot of light quotient. Come on, and if you want to think about it, Elvis gave a lot of light quotient because they loved music. They loved the vibration, and they knew that the music was the vibratory field that could just explode everything and explode it and implode it, right? So the Johnny B. Good and Sam Cooke and you just start naming them all that have passed on, that have probably turned around and started up the polarity densities to merge back with the divine and turned around and said, okay, I don't want to do it in form body anymore, but I sure am going to hold space for earth consciousness and humanity to shift. I guarantee you that Michael, that version of the higher being that was Michael, turned around and said, I'm going to hold space for earth consciousness to shift. I'm going to hold space for everybody to have their divine spiritual chance to do what they were called to do. I'm going to space for that.
That's facts. That's facts.
Right now, you might see it in different. It might be said in a different way that I said it. Let what I say resonate, and take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you don't believe, if you say, Sandy, that's a little bit fanciful, I don't believe it quite that way, that's perfectly okay. Because the divine says, I want to feel and see and be through you what you're feeling, what you're seeing, right? And there's no right or wrong to it. There's just a vibrational field that you have. If it doesn't feel like it's for your highest and greatest good, guess what? There's another thought floating past you, just like a cloud. You're not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. You're not your emotions. You have thoughts. You have feelings, and you can move through them, or you can when we say throw it away, you can just give it back to the no thing from whence everything came from. And guess who the no thing is? It's the divine. You can call it the unmanifested. It's the divine, right? So everybody, oh yeah, the chaos came from the creation of third density. It didn't just willy-nilly show up because it because you created it. Chaos was the energy of the polarity. If you want peace, sometimes you got to see chaos. You got to see a little bit of it. You got to feel a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
How? You feel it and then you go, no, I don't like that feeling. I think I want to feel something a little bit more
Right.
peaceful. And
So then you know what peace
yeah,
is and can appreciate it from a higher perspective instead of taking it for granted.
yes,
Getting say I'm bored. let
right,
let me go to the streets right quick.
right. But kind of like, and I love the fact that there's all infinite journeys to take, because mine was if I did not have, if I did not grow up in a religious background to identify a being, a higher being, even though I didn't believe that a higher being was God sitting, God with the white beard sitting on a chair up in the, up in the ethers, getting ready to decide if I'm going to go to heaven or hell. At least it was a starting point. It was a point for me to have a thought and say, well, what if? And then that thought became a question, you know, and then the question, it ticked a lot of people off, but it started that's where my puzzle pieces started to fall in place.
You gotta disrupt. You gotta be the disruptor
Yeah.
in order to really get those puzzle pieces
Yeah.
together, or
Yeah.
even get the pieces.
Well, this part of my puzzle piece now was me uh, uh, coming to the understanding through this is that my puzzle pieces weren't what was changing. The puzzle that the pieces were held in had reconfigured themselves, and now I had to change. I had to alchemize the pieces to fit. That was my new story,
Interesting.
right? Um, some people might say, that doesn't fit, but it's just my wording. Go find your own wording. Go find somebody else's page that's got the information that you can resonate with.
Mm-hmm.
If you came from a background of an atheist background or an agnostic background, if you came from a Jewish background or whatnot, you're going to have the dialogue of the words are going to be different for you to open up and become aware. So find somebody who's got that dialogue that can help you get there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
people that know about energy, there's people that know about numerology, there's people that know about astrology, and all of this is part of the divine, the information that helps you understand the divine. So all right. Woo. I'm, mm, mm. You,
Ishine kira la ko como pure del kishne kara la kotor kara la kata la kotor pata kara kiki ran kita la kotor pata kata kata shin kotor la kata homo podi kata to kolo ko te kiti shine kita tata kiti shikata como yati.
yes. Well, to ku I te shushu shata I mo hu sha lai me ke te sha da I da tok jish na toka mia tu shana da I.
So one of the things that was I like that. One of the things that I can do with my light language is I found out a lot of people can't, not many people can do yet or is doing now, is that I can rap with my light language. So I mentioned that already, but to put it into musical form is all it's an activation, and it that's why she told me to put it in my start putting it into my music, because we everything is music to a certain extent. So it's like that's like you know
It's the resonance.
in our culture it's a major thing, and it's spiritual too.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can apply these gifts to the spiritual to a spiritual mechanism like music,
Right.
this vibration it just amplifies the healing. So, like for an example, I remember with that live you was just talking about with me and Yeshua, when I was talking about chakras and mudras, and how um there's a mudra for each chakra. So imagine imagine aligning those chakras with your with the mood with the imagine aligning the mudras with the chakra that you're trying to work on,
Uh-huh.
and then take your intention and speak your light language with it. Now that's a stack. It's like stack, 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 stack.
Oh,
So it's double healing is in so what I did was, and I haven't put it out yet because I haven't made the final song for this project, but it's a light language project where I'm working on your chakras.
great.
So I take I take I take the guitar and then, because what I found out also through my Akashic Records reading, Prince had something to say. He said that each string represents a chakra, or it represents the rainbow. The guitar represents the rainbow. So when I talked to other people, they told me each string represents a chakra. So I'm going to get a 7-string guitar
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
But I took the guitar and I played each string, like say lower 3 chakras, lower 3 um I play by ear, so I don't really always know the 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 keys, the strings, and their names. But I played the lower 3 strings,
Hmm.
and what it did was it started activating people's lower 3 chakras. While I'm doing that, that's me creating the beat, right? I'm also recording and kind of giving you instruction, but at the same time, I'm giving myself intention to do certain things. So there's a song where I say healing all lower 3 chakras, spinning clockwise, or all underdeveloped
Right.
chakras spin clockwise, and overactive chakras spin counterclockwise.
Mm.
And then that's the intention, that's the affirmation. Then I start speaking a light language musically. So you getting like a stack, like a whole healing vibe.
Right. Yeah.
It's hard for me to explain it, but that's something I'm experimenting with. But other than that, yeah, I, I'll be doing it.
All
I
right.
I channeled DMX my last song.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, do you know the vibration of me having to close this live, it's like I wanted to keep talking.
Mhm.
That's the Gemini in me. I'm a talker, right? But I will ask that may I invite you back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
anytime.
Okay. And we'll work on when that's going to be. I think hopefully in February, the beginning of February.
Hmm.
I'm working on. I'm just on a platform where I can do Instagram and YouTube at the same time, but I'm learning the platform and how to use it. So,
Hmm.
definitely, uh, by I believe the beginning of February, I will be ready to go. So, uh,
Dope. I'm here if you need me.
okay. Uh, so everyone, please, if you're not following this young man, please follow him. Hit the arrow up at the and drop it down and follow him. He is into light language activation. If you want to know more about activation, if you want to know more about how his vibration can activate you, hit him up. And ask a question. I don't know if he charges. That will be between you and him. And he's got a DM. So follow, follow, follow. And I want to thank you so much for being part of this live. I think you have really actually probably activated a lot of people, right? Right? I,
Thank you for inviting
right.
me.
I think we did. So thank you for being a part of this live stream. Thank you, thank you, thank
No
you.
problem. I thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was very fun. Yeah, thank you. Gratitude.
Yes, that's the word, gratitude. It's being of a vibration of gratitude, and very humbling to learn a little bit more about light language and the vibration of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So thank you so much. So kind.
Wow.
All righty, guys. I'm going to close this podcast with 10845. Numerology 10845. We're closing the circle. We're bringing in the energy, any energy that was left in the room, that was left in this room with intent for harm. I'm listening to the divine. Surrender it back to the divine. Ask the divine to transmute it, to alchemize it. We do not send it back to the person who intended harm. We just give it back to the universe with unconditional love. Thank you. Thank you.
Transmute.
Transmute. Yes. So,
I think I got.
okay, go ahead.
I think Spirit wants me to. My higher self want me to. Got one more message. And shiro la komanda yasna kara la katari sikitiste ketode sinaka la katari sinakita la katari de roboto kodakara yana natutisnaka umpo ya chisnikere la karaya yeshini kumpuna alaninga na sana kanta tono kuna katikatare la katata de sinikata katata sinikata sinakota la katikati sinakatieta rompo ko yeti sinikata la kati de topata si takana sana sia okuana des nakikatista te. Oh.
Paliki.
I've,
Ashe.
yeah, I share. Part of, I mean, they don't want me to. They don't want me to. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that because I was gonna use another form of light language that I have. They said no, that's too much right now. You can say that for another time.
Well, all I know is my throat chakra wanted to clear. So I thank you. Some of that was for me. You know, I thank you. It was talking, the soul was in receipt of that. And the soul will, when I meditate it, will sit down and break it down for me. So
Okay,
thank you. Thank
no
you.
problem. The intention was for the heart chakra for everybody. So
Yes.
hear their heart. But that's all I got for you. I know you gotta go.
Okay. Anyway, so thank you so much. And everybody have a wonderful weekend and sit at the seat of your soul. Sit at the cosmic seat of the universe. You are a powerful creator. You have the energy of a star. You were made the same as the cosmos. You have all of that in you. Sit at that seat, decide, have a decision of who you want to be, where you want to be, how you want to be, and then take it,
Take action.
intend it, put your energy behind it, and create it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ashe ukarim te ishe. Ashe matai. Okay. Thank you. Peace.
Peace.